my yarny friends, I'm Sara Sach, and welcome back to my crochet channel. Today's video, I'm going to show you how to crochet this fun and easy headscarf. Now I've made it in patriotic colors because I love the patriotic colors, but of course you can use any medium weight number 4 yarns that you have on hand. It would be beautiful in ombres, striping yarns, or in any colors that you like. Make one to match every outfit you're going to wear this summer. Now, I was inspired to make this because we recently moved back to Oklahoma, and you know about those Oklahoma breezes, right? Yeah, no breezes, they're wind. And we got to keep our hair in place when we're outside walking the dogs or playing in the park. And so I decided to make a completely adjustable and versatile head scarf. You want it for a smaller child? Do less rows. You want it for a bigger head? Do more rows. Now this will fit approximately an 18 to 22 inch head, maybe even a 24-inch head, because it is very stretchy and comfortable. And it has these ties that can be adjusted just by tying your bow just a little bit tighter to fit your head. So it's super adjustable, super easy, super quick, and a great stash yarn buster. Now you can find the complete pattern with pictures on my blog, and as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. To make our patriotic headscarf, you're going to need a 1/2 ounce of 4 different colors. And again, I'm making it patriotic colors, but you can do it any colors that you want to. This is all, I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby that I had on hand. We've got a red, a white, a royal blue, and then a gold. Now again, any medium weight number 4 yarn will work, even cotton or other fibers. It doesn't matter as long as it's a medium weight number 4 yarn. You could even do this in ombres, striping yarns, whatever you have left in your stash. We're going to be stitching today with our H-hook, which is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. You'll also need a needle just for weaving in ends and your scissors. We're going to be starting with our color 1, which on mine is white. And we're also going to be starting down at the point of the headscarf and work our way up, increasing as we go. All right, so we're going to begin with our slip knot. We're going to chain 4. Now we're going to stitch 6 double crochets in the 4th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this one is 6. So we chained 4. We began in the 2nd chain from the hook, and we stitched 6. So this chain 3 at the beginning counts as 1 also. So we have 7 double crochets, and we're going to go ahead and chain 3. And that's the way row 1 should look. We've chained 3. We're going to turn our work, and we're going to double crochet in that first double crochet. That's going to increase by 1 because our chain 3 counts as 1, and we stitched 1 in that first stitch. Now we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip the next and double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip the next, and double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip the next, and then 2 double crochets in that last stitch. Now we're not going to chain 3 here because we are going to be changing to color 2. But what we have is 2 double crochets, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and then 2 double crochets at the end of row 2. Now for row 3, we're going to bring in our color 2 and chain 3. We're going to leave our color 1, which is my white, attached. We're going to be changing every 2 rows, and so we're going to just carry our yarn up on the side. So I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to double crochet in that first double crochet. I'm going to double crochet in the next double crochet. I'm going to double crochet in that chain 1 space. And then we'll repeat this. Double crochet in the double crochet, double crochet in the chain 1 space, double crochet in the double crochet again, and then chain 1 space as well. And then that brings us to those last 2 double crochet stitches. So we'll double crochet in the next double crochet, and then 2 double crochets in that last double crochet. So 1 and 2. And we'll chain 3 because we're not changing colors here. All right, so we have 2 at the beginning, and then 1 in each of the double crochets and chain 1 spaces, and then 2 at the end. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 double crochets. All right, let's do row 4. We've chained 3. We're going to turn our work. We're going to double crochet in that first double crochet. We're going to chain 1, skip 1, and we'll repeat that all the way across. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, and then 2 double crochets in that last double crochet. So we have 2 at the beginning, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next, and then 2 double crochets in our last stitch. And that's the way row 4 should look. All right, now for row 5, we're not going to chain 3 because we're changing back to our color 1. So we're going to bring it up and make sure it doesn't droop or it doesn't pull. We'll snug that down and chain 3 and turn. And you'll be carrying your yarn only on this one side because we're changing colors every 2 rows. So we'll double crochet in that first double crochet. We'll double crochet in the next. Double crochet in the chain 1 space. And then we'll repeat this across. Double crochet in the double crochet. Double crochet in the chain 1 space. And we'll do this all the way across for row 5 until we reach those last 2 double crochets. And so you can see every row we are increasing at the beginning and end of our rows. All right, so I'll double crochet in this double crochet, and then that leaves the last double crochet, and we'll stitch 2 double crochets in that last double crochet. We're not changing colors, so I'm going to chain 3. All right, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 double crochets for row 5. And I think you're starting to get an idea of how the pattern works. We do a row of solid double crochets. We increase at the beginning and the end. And then this next row we're going to do the open work or window double crochet style. and we'll increase at the beginning and end of that row as well. All right, so 1 double crochet in that first double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and repeat across. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. And we're doing this all the way across till we reach that last double crochet. So here's my last double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and now I'm going to stitch 2 double crochets in that last double crochet. I'm not going to chain 3 because now we're going to bring up our yarn and change to our red. But before we do that, I want you to see how row 6 looks. We have 2 double crochets, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet across. Here's our last double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and then 2 double crochets in that last double crochet stitch. So for row 7, we're bringing back in our color 2, snug that down, and chain 3, and turn. What you're going to do is you're going to continue to repeat these 2 rows, and you're going to alternate every 2 rows. You'll do 2 rows of red, 2 rows of white for 10 more rows. All right? And each row you'll increase at the beginning and end so that your headscarf will increase as it goes up. All right? So we're going to repeat these 2 rows for 10 more rows, increasing every row at the beginning of end, and alternating every 2 rows, red and white, red and white, red and white. It's a super simple pattern, and I know you can do it. So I repeated these 2 rows for an additional 10 rows, and that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 white stripes and 1, 2, 3, 4 red stripes. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to bring in your blue. I've already cut my yarns here, and I'm going to bring in my blue yarn. And then we're just going to repeat for 2 more rows what we've been doing. I've brought in my blue yarn. I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Make sure everything's snug down there, and turn our work. I'm going to double crochet in this first double crochet in each of the double crochets, and chain 1 spaces all the way across, just like we've been doing with our red and white stripes. So what I'm doing is just repeating what we did here one more time and increasing at the beginning of end of the row. And I'll do another row of the open work like this. So I'm doing 2 more rows only in the blue. So I stitched those 2 rows of blue exactly the same way we did our red and white stripes, increasing by 1 on both ends, and I ended with my open row. Now we're going to bring in our gold. I've already cut my blue yarn, and we're going to bring in our gold. And we're only going to chain 1. And so what we're going to do is we're going to turn our work this way, and we're going to work down the side, evenly stitching single crochets all the way down and then back up this other side. So as we work down the side, I am going to stitch over these tails of yarn. But remember, you can stitch over them, but you need to come back in and weave them in with your needle. All right, so we're going to go right in the side of the stitch, and you want to try to stitch those single crochet stitches in the sides of those double crochet stitches and not the holes. And that's because it will leave a big gaping hole if you do it that way. And it's a little more difficult here where we have a chain one space, where this one isn't actually a chain one space, it's just a gaping hole. But you want to go ahead and try to get in those sides of those stitches and those yarns. I'm going to move those blue ones out of the way like that. And those yarns where we carried them up, you're going to stitch over them and cover them. And it's going to leave a nice, neat row on the side. Now I'm stitching over that red one. What I do is I stitch over those just for a couple of stitches, then I move them out of the way, and then I'll come back in with my needle and weave those in. All right? So we want to try our best to go in those double crochet stitches, working all the way down the side and stitching around those stitches where we carried our yarn. And you'll notice there are points where I am stitching in the holes. You just have to try to stitch in the double crochets, but where there isn't a spot, it's okay if you stitch in a hole every now and then. It's not the end of the world. You just want to try to keep it as neat as possible. And keep it even, keep your stitches close but not too close. And because if you put them too close, they'll get a little ripply. If you stitch them too far apart, you'll have an uneven row. Okay? Alrighty, so I'm just going to stitch down to the point of our headscarf, and then I'll turn and repeat working up here. The second row will be easier, or the second side, because we won't have to stitch over all those yarns that we carried. Alright, so stitch down and back up to this side. So I stitched an even row of single crochet down and around and all the way up the other side, just a nice even row in gold. Now what we're going to do is make our tie, and so we're going to chain 30 chains. Make sure you chain these 30 chains just a little bit loose, because we're going to be turning and single crocheting back down this chain. Once you've chained your 30 chains, we're going to turn and single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then single crochet back up to the head scarf. Now if you want your tie to be longer, you can certainly chain more chains. I just don't want mine real long. I think that's enough to tie it on and hold it on to my head. All right, so we're going to single crochet back down this chain till we reach back to our headscarf. I've single crocheted back down my chain. Now I'm back to the headscarf. All right, so I'm going to put a single crochet in that first single crochet there of our gold trim. And now I'm just going to stitch one single crochet in each of the stitches across. And so I'll place a single crochet in those two double crochets, single crochet in the chain one space, single crochet in the double crochet, and single crochet in the chain one space. And I'll repeat this working all the way across the top of my headscarf. And we'll continue this all the way across, and then we'll repeat what we did on this side over here. We'll chain 30, then single crochet back. I single crocheted across, stitching a single crochet in each of the double crochets and the chain one spaces. Then we single crocheted in those last two and single crocheted in the gold single crochet where we started. And so now I'm just going to repeat the 30 chains and then single crochet back up like we did on the other side. This way I have two ties to tie on my headscarf. I've single crocheted back down my chain, and what we're going to do is we're going to join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch, and cut our yarn. All right. Now we're going to go in that next stitch and pull that loop to the back. So it has a much nicer appearance than having sort of a little bump there on the front. All right, now we need to take our needle and weave in this end. It's very important because we're going to be tying it on our head a bunch and it's going to get worn out. And you also need to make sure that you weave in all your other places where you tied off your yarn. Okay? So I'm going to go in and back and forth, and I'm going to do it a couple of times. Usually I do 3 or 4 times going back and forth, but this is going to be a place where it's going to get tied a lot and used a lot. So I want to make sure I really get that weaved in, going through stitches and fibers, but being careful not to make it go through the blue on the front. Alrighty, and I'll just tie that off. And I'll take a minute and weave in the rest of my ends, and my headscarf is ready to wear. And so my patriotic headscarf is all completed with my red and white stripes, my blue, and the gold trim. And it's great because it can be adjusted to any size head because of the ties. And remember, I did 30 chains. If you want yours longer, maybe you like to make a nice big bow, you can add more chains and make your tie longer. If you're making this for maybe a child with a smaller head, do less rows of the red and white before you add the blue and make it a little bit smaller. And then you can make it for everyone in your house. It's a lot of fun. It's a great, easy project. And again, you don't have to make it in patriotic colors. Get in your yarn stash and make whatever fun headscarf you like.